What is going on, everybody? We are back on to Berserk Mangas chapter 78 and 79. Shit is hitting the fan right now. Once again, though, this video is like 3 Berserk videos ahead. I'm just getting a lot of free time, so I'm trying to stack up video, like everything, One Piece, Monster, everything. So again, here, you guys have not seen Sunday's upload, and you guys have not seen Monday's upload, and this won't go up till next Friday. I think I'm going to halt here, though. I don't want to start getting weeks ahead. Because there's a lot of deep questions we asked with this, especially with Monday's video. Hopefully you guys have seen the poll that I posted. I think I posted it Saturday of kind of asking for the best 8 chapter stretch, and if you would like it to be like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday upload, just boom, 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 8 chapters, or would you rather it be like an 8 chapter live stream? Hopefully we've gotten some results on that by the time you guys see this video. The biggest question I had, and I'm sure you guys will answer it if it's not spoilerish by the time you guys see this Friday and I catch up with Monday's comments of what that vision was that Griffith was shown. It was said to be his life, but I'm guessing he didn't actually go through something where he saw just piles of dead bodies as a kid, did he? I don't think that's what we were trying to show, but I think it was more kind of hinting at, like, he did have a dream and a goal of reaching the castle. Now, I don't really know what reaching the castle means to him. Is that just used figuratively, to reach his goal? And they're using like a castle as that thing, and him wanting to be a king or whatever it wanted to be. But what was weird was seeing the 2 other god hands stacked on top of each other as that old lady. I don't know if that was supposed to be like, what the hell is going on there? Are they like warping his mind a little bit there in that vision? Or they were just being represented as that old woman. Because now I'm trying to see, like, was that old woman really there when he was... I don't know. There's a lot of stuff going on right there. But a lot's been hinted at, because of who he is, he was chosen. Or he's been chosen, and because of that, he is how he is. I don't know. It's the same like chicken or egg type thing when you're talking about destiny and free will and fate and all those things. But it looked like last chapter Griffith had accepted that. Like, he's caused so much death from the amount of people he's killed, and with the Hawks, like just the amount of people they've killed, and the amount of Hawks that have died fighting for him. Like, there's been so much death associated with him, all to achieve his dream. So the question becomes, like, are you going to make all that death, everybody you've and your friends have killed, and all the friends you've lost, are you just going to stop here and make it all be worthless? Or are you going to actually achieve your dream so you can justify the amount of lives that you've spent? And it almost looked like last chapter we left off where he's like, you know what? I am going to make all these lives worth it, and, essentially give himself to whatever the hell this is about to be. So that's kind of where we left it. This is a wild shot right here, by the way. Still posing a major question of, like, do they answer to a higher, like these 5, we see it represented as this hand, and that eclipse back there looks like an eye looking at, like, do they answer to something? Do they even have free will? Do they think they have free will? I don't even think Griffith, I don't know. Regardless, we'll see. I think I said I'd give it 10 more chapters before bodies start dropping. Like, we might not see anybody ever again minus Guts right here. I've already put money on it that I think Casca is going to be his, like, personal sacrifice. You've got a legion of apostles out there. It's bad. It's bad. Let's go ahead and do it. Press play on this. Here, you guys should be able to see my cursor. Yes. Turn this down a little bit in my head. We are recording. 5 minutes in. Mic is Alright, let's go ahead and do it. Chapter 78, you guys should be seeing this on Friday. Oh god. And what I'm really curious is, like, when it does happen, does he become, like, sinister in accepting that decision? Or does he just, like, let himself be consumed by it? Or does he let himself be consumed by it so much that he turns, like, evil? I don't know. Was that an illusion? It was no illusion. It's the reality within your conscious realm. Reality within your conscious realm. I'm trying to figure out how to interpret that. Eyeing the castle in the sky, taking it by piling up corpses endlessly. That is you. So are we trying to say, like, when he was a kid, there was, like, an actual castle, or he had a vision or a dream of reaching that? Whether it's king, whether it's a castle, whether it's his dream, that's just how it's being interpreted. And for him to get that is going to take piles of dead bodies. It's how they're representing it to him. But then the question becomes, we already know what happens, but the question is for Griffith. I don't even know if it's a question, he might not have a choice. Are you willing to sacrifice everyone for the quote-unquote castle in the sky? Are you willing to sacrifice Casca and everybody else and Guts and everything for your castle in the sky? Clearly he decides yes, because we know what happens, but the thing is, like, is that even his choice to make? It seems like it was already made for him because he's been chosen. We know he does become. Over thousands of your comrades' corpses, over the tens of thousands of corpses they in turn amassed, over those corpses with no identities, no names, you have trampled as you came, but with one desire in mind. And now your back alley path has been interrupted. But behold, those who've flown with you, the hawk's wings, the feathers, one by one. Can they hear this? Okay, how am I supposed to be reading this here? Even as they shake with fear, they gaze up at you with clear eyes. The ones left to you at the end of your blood-soaked journey, they should forgive you even if they are now crushed by despair. They should welcome you warmly, then you can go on living, commit your wounded self to them. Bury everything in exchange for the past. So they can't hear this. But what's wild is, like, they're feeding him this shit, they're feeding him, and he's getting no counter to it, you know? There's, like, honey dipping him in the sound, like, it sounds, especially the current state he's in, he's like, wait, it still can be had and everything, but, like, I need a Casca or Guts up there, like, speaking to him, like, another path or another way. I wish Guts was up there. I know he's hanging on, but I wish he was up there. In the ruins of your dream, ruins of my dream, that is the cruel grace of the God born of man. God born of man. Even so, if you still see it, if even now that castle is in your eyes more dazzling than anything, I like this shot right here of, like, his long, I don't know if that's an arm extension that they're using to point like that. Looks wild as hell. Then pile it up, take all you have left. Chant the words I sacrifice in your heart, and you shall be granted raven black wings, upon which you shall soar in the heavens higher than any summit. You just have to say I sacrifice in my heart. And, like, does he have to say a specific name when he does that? And again, I also pose the question of, like, see how you guys can see my cursor, see how the markings here? I think it makes it easy to explain that, like, in order to become a God Hand or to become an apostle, you don't even know if they have free will, so I think it's safe to assume that you must have something to sacrifice to even be considered for any of these positions. And I think that happens purposefully, Like with Wild and with Zod and everything like that. I think if one of them just happened to stumble upon Behelit, whatever we're calling it these days, they could not unlock or grant it or even have use of it if they didn't have something to give in return for that power. I just think it wouldn't do anything. And I think it's easier to explain that way, because then you've got to have a whole backstory of like, well, if you don't have something to sacrifice, you can, you know, give yourself... I just think it's easier to be like, Destiny, however, whoever's writing the story and pulling the strings won't even choose you as someone that can be if you don't have something to sacrifice. That's how I interpret it. Guts, you gotta get up there. Oh, he did. Nice, 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 nice. If it be reason that destiny transcend human intellect in many playthings of children, it is cause and effect that a child bear his evil and confront destiny. Thank God he got up there. Please, I know it doesn't work, but please say something. They're just gaslighting him right now. Give us some alternative. Oh no. Oh no, I think it's too late. You see the change in his face and his eyes. Oh no. I think it's over. Oh no, this look right here, Packet Guts does not. Oh man. Did you see the look on his face here? Like, still like, was that real? What do you mean, Castle? Like, and now it's like a softened, like, acceptance. Among thousands of comrades and tens of thousands of enemies, you're the only one. You're the only one who made me forget my dream. Oh God. What is this shit? Oh God, the hand closed. Has he already, internally chosen to, as he spoken the sacred words within his own heart and mind? I was really hoping for a moment here of like maybe some waffling with Griffith. Not that it's not going to change the outcome, because we know he does become. I was hoping maybe Guts would be able to give some kind of words. The threads bundled by the laws of causality have now been bound. The promised time has come. Are we submitting a little bit here that he might be a little bit higher rank than the rest? Maybe not rank, but he seems the only one speaking and dropping knowledge. I don't know. Oh no. The threads, like it's just happening? Are we yanking souls out of their chest? Like it's happening right now? It's chapter 78, like it's over? Threads bundled by laws of causality have now been bound. He's sacrificing all of them. Or are they all just being marked? Or are they dead? Like they're dead. Dang, you see Judo try to go with the I think they're just all being marked. Because I think everyone's gonna get a moment. I just don't think we're gonna. I don't think this means Casca's like she's dead. She is dead, but I think we're gonna at least get a page. Dang. Okay, yeah, we see where they all got marked. Judo here, Casca here. Guts on his neck. Granted, what the hell are we gonna do about this? This shot right here. Let's go to 79. It's looking like he's giving that switch. Jesus, help us. And I don't know how the like they've all been marked. Does that mean they're marked for consumption? And I don't know if you guys have maybe answered it by now. I'm like 6 chapters, 8 chapters ahead. What do the I don't think there's any lower level demons, are there? I think it's apostles, God Hand, correct? I think that's it. You guys probably have answered that by this video. I don't think there's lower demons. I think we were able to maybe take the souls of those in that graveyard that one episode with the old man and his daughter. I don't think there's anything. I guess you can consider that lower than apostles, but I don't consider those like anything. I think it's apostles, God Hand. Dead bodies could be puppeted for a little bit, but that's about it. Do they need to feed? Is there a reason for this? Like every 200 odd years that we have a damn carnival fair where everyone's getting like human funnel cakes and shit like that? Like, do they need to? Or do X amount of souls just have to be sacrificed to purgatory every time and they just do it? Or do they actually need to consume this? I don't know. Damn, there they go. Yeah, they're getting plucked off. The apostles are straight up eating, like, yeah. It's straight like Attack on Titan shit, like, it's so helpless, like there's nothing you could do. Dang, all of them. No, it was a feast. Gluttonously devouring everything. The Inhumans' twisted feast. That's what I'm saying, like, I don't know if they need to just periodically feed and feed like every 260 years it's got to be redone up or what. Oh man, it's so like, we dealt with Zod once, thank God he let us go. We lost bodies against Wild, but man, we were able to put him down. And you think like, man, it can't get worse. This is so much worse. It is so much worse. Is this like Gaston and shit here too? Is she just gonna get off-screen eaten? Like no Griffith eye contact, no final moment with Guts, nothing? I would be thinking, honestly, I wouldn't falter for thinking this is real, but girl, do you know what we've just been through? This is in fact and unfortunately real. Oh man, I don't think this might be the chapter where like this is it. What is this? Is it real? Why are we in this place? Because of the one you guys thought to be divine God himself. And like he can't even get down. Oh man. What has now been engraved upon your bodies is the brand of sacrifice. Alright, this should be some good like explanations of things here. The lies of those engraved with the brand are our demonic offerings. Now, when you mean our, is it person specific? Like when they say our, like these are Griffith's offerings, correct? Not every apostle or God Hand's offerings, it's just Griffith specifically? I don't know. The lies of those engraved with the brand are our demonic offerings. To the last drop of blood, to the moment of agonizing death. They become food for the new child of darkness. Oh my god, and you see him like incubating in here? So they become, for the last drop of blood to the agony, they become food for, like, so this is some like Miriam Hunter x Hunter King shit. Like he's got his like cell coming out of his fucking cocoon. He's just got to be fed their essential blood souls so that the new God Hand can emerge. So I'm curious, was that the process of every single one of them? Is that why they, because I asked this question in the last 4 chapters or so. Every 260 or whatever years they had this feast when the eclipse. is that in hand with appointing a new god hand? Or are they not correlated? Every 260 years that they do this feast, that the eclipse comes, is it because of a coronation of a new god hand? Or this time, this eclipse, we just happen to be bringing in a god hand as well? I would be curious if every 260 years it does mean the eclipse is for a new god hand and that they, you know, take the souls, put them in there. But then it's rare that somebody's going to have a big of a reach as him, so how many souls do you really need for a god hand? I don't know. Maybe, again, if it's Destiny Fated, maybe it's going to be somebody that's picked that has that many connections, because it's rare. Like, yeah, he commanded an army, that's why he has so many souls to mark and sacrifice, but if someone's just a regular person that has 1 or 2 connections, it's not going to be the same food that, I guess, Griffith is off. I don't know. He's trying to get in there. Just wait, Griffith, just wait. I'm coming to save you. God almighty. I'll get you out of there soon. It's useless. The strength of man will no longer prevail. Besides, you're mistaken in thinking you will save him. This is what he wanted. You should have been able to hear it. What he definitely said last. Shut up, shut up. I'm telling you to... Oh man, I wonder if... I'm so curious, like, how the hell... Like, fast forward to current timeline. How the hell do we kill them? How do we even compete? Because Guts is getting his shit rocked by apostles. I don't know. There's no way. No way he'd do that. He'd never say something like that. In life, unrelated to one's social standing or class is determined by man. There are some people who, by nature, are keys that set the world in motion. They are the true elite, as dictated by the golden rule of the universe. They obtain the powers of gods. Who's saying this? Like a narrator? Shouldn't say, for no other sake, to accomplish it for him, for himself, a dream. You think I'm cruel? Is this what you wanted? I feel like, and I've been saying this for a while, and it's not a fault in the writing because I need to see how the story ends before I can fault it. I still don't feel anything for Griffith or other characters' connections that they have for Griffith. But I am curious, you know, if he does have his Darth Vader moment. Spoilers if you haven't seen Star Wars. And we get to the end of this and he, like, reflects on himself. And he shake those shackles, and I hope we get some more moments of him, because it still seemed like there wasn't even that much like of a connection that I felt when he decided to actually give in to this. It was like, oh, this is my dream, this is what it is? Alright. And just got consumed. I feel like I need more for me as a reader to care about anything Griffith has going for him, or to make me feel anything. And maybe we're not supposed to. Maybe it is supposed to be that, like, vague with him as a character. But, like, I don't feel anything when Griffith or Casca, or where Guts or Casca, you know, chase after him or try to call to him. Because I just haven't gotten enough to feel connected with his character, you know? Oh, God. Bro, you gotta get down there. But what is he... I don't know. Sacrifice, sacrifice. So how the hell does he get out of this, actually? Because we know he's still being hunted to this day, right? Oh, God. That's the shot right there. You guys can't see it, but damn. We'll have to look at that post. It has been determined that that's it. Everyone's beyond that hill. Oh, that's it. Everyone's beyond that hill. Oh, God. Rickert. I feel like Rickert has a part to play here. I don't know what that part is. I don't know what his part to play is here, but... What is that? Oh, so it didn't consume the whole world then. It's just that area. Okay. I don't know if the whole area had, like, soul faces on it, the whole world, or if it was just the area they were giving him, but he's coming up over a hill that looks like a regular hill. Good God. I'm gonna say don't go in there. Where are they? Oh! What is this shit here? No shot. I'm so tight because I can tell how many pages there are left, and there's like 2. He's not even walking up on, he's not even walking up on Guts and Griffith in the new God Hand coronation. He's walking up on some Madara Hashirama death changing the landscape of the land Royal Rumble 1v1 matchup over here. They're creating typhoons and whirlwinds and lightning and conjuring shit. What is... Are we just sparring? Why are Zod and the Knight... Skull of the Knights like throwing hands right now? I thought that gut shot was the shot of the... No, this is the shot. What the hell's going on? Wow, that was the last page. Holy shit. I'll be honest with you. I'm more interested in this than everything we got in those 2 chapters. Because again, I don't feel anything for Griffith, and I don't know if it's supposed to be that way on purpose. And because we already know what he becomes too, so it was like we know this moment was coming. But man, I thought that, and maybe there still will be. I thought there would be. I don't know. I thought, even though I thought it was gonna happen, we knew it wouldn't work because we know as a reader what happens to Griffith to a certain point in the story. Like we got a little bit. Now we're catching back up to that little bit. We don't know what happens past that point in time. But we're coming up on that point in time. So it doesn't matter like the heartfelt plea that Guts could have given or Casca could have begged or something like that. We know that he does become that, and we're seeing what he gives up in the process. But I don't know. We'll get random pages of him like monologuing about this and monologuing about that, but I still don't like. I feel like there's a disconnect. Like he doesn't feel any different, Griffith, to me as a character than Judo or Corcus, or anybody like that, as far as like have gotten enough info to be invested in. I'm only invested because the 2 main characters of the story so far, well, the main character Guts, and then I would say sub-main Casca, are connected to him in such a way. And everybody in the whole story has been focused around Griffith, and he's made to seem as this like character. But me as a reader, independent from the characters in the story, I have no connection to him. I mean, it is like they're essentially just talking about God, and they have been since like the beginning of like what he is, and everything always seemed to work out. But it's another thing, like, was it him or was it just Destiny focused? I'm not gonna dive too deep into redundant questions that I've asked over the last like 6 chapters or so, because you guys haven't been able to catch up comment wise to my videos. But I'm not gonna record another one until you guys have at least seen Monday's video. Just so I can get caught up on some of the, you know, what was going on in Griffith's flashback there. Why was there God hands in his flashback? Is that just because they're taking him through the flashback disguised as the old woman? We'll kind of see there. And like, am I wrong for saying I don't feel anything for Griffith yet in this point in the story? I feel for what's happening to the characters, but like him choosing that, I wanted a moment to see if Guts could invoke emotion out of him. The most emotion we've seen out of Griffith in the... How many prologue chapters did I read? Am I 100 chapters in total? I'm at 80. Was there 20 or so prologue? There was like 12 or so, so we'll give or take 100. I feel like the most emotion we've seen out of him is when the man had his face covered. We got more emotion out of his eyes and out of his inner thoughts than when he was still like healthy and good to go. It's just so wild, that switch, because at the beginning of chapter 78, he still seemed concerned to the point of like, you know, what was that? Was that real? Are those my flashbacks? Like, almost like that can't be, or how could that be? And like 5 pages later, he just hits us with that side-eye look, and he's like, sorry. And then just all hell breaks loose. So there's a lot of questions that I've asked about that over the last 6 or so chapters. I'm going to let you guys kind of catch up and answer some of those before we go any further. This, though, this was not on my bingo card of like what I was ever expecting to happen. Like, is this just one of those things like, you know, we spar every 260 years? Or what specifically are these two son of a bitches doing? And why are they not at the coronation of like the new God Hand? Like, are the and that's what I've been asking. Are they, I don't know about Zod specifically, but our man over here, Skull of the Knights, Night Skull, is he just an apostle? He's no different than Zod, Wild, Count, anything we've ran into? Which I don't think is true, because we've seen him semi-command other apostles. Is he on the status of one of the 5 God Hands? And then where's Zod? Is he like a special apostle? Like, how does he... And we knew he had contact with Wild, because Wild said, oh, Zod spoke of... And then Wild seemed to freeze up a little bit too when Zod showed up. Is he being reprimanded for killing Wild? Are apostles not supposed to harm other apostles? Why are they not there? What's the power ranking here? I don't know. I mean, something's up with the Knight of the Skull. I don't know if he's just below the God Hand, if he's above them, if he is the one true whatever. But we did see those apostles, like, submit to his commands there, after they had already slaughtered the whole damn crew. But what the hell is going on here? I don't know. This is probably the most interesting thing we got out of these 2 chapters, I would say. Ricker is having a rough time. Man saw his comrade slaughtered, he barely gets away, and now he's walking upon this shit. I don't know if this is friendly, if this... I don't know what this is, but man, I need some information on this shit right here. We'll go ahead and leave that there, though. I appreciate it, everybody. Like, share, subscribe, as always.